Life, sir.
Guru. Namaskar. Since yesterday, we have been discussing the role of religion and culture, role of religion and role of religion and philosophy in culture in India and in West. And let us recap one or two things. So we found that the average Europeans attitudes towards philosophy is like this. The average European draws his guiding views not from the philosophy, but from the positive and practical reason. This is the first thing. They do not take any material from the philosophic ideas. They take their ideas from the positive and practical reason. But what is positive? It is actually positivism. There is a theory, there is a philosophy which influences the entire West. I will explain. I will explain briefly about this positivism. But first, uh, the average European does not absolutely disdain philosophy, though they do not take any material or any views from the philosophic ideas, but still they do not disdain philosophy, but considers it. Though they do not disdain it, they consider it, if not a man-made illusion, if it is not man-made illusion, still it is rather nebulous. Nebulous means obscure thing, a sort of obscure substance. They consider it, or he considers it, a rather nebulous, remote, and ineffective kind of occupation. Ineffective kind of occupation. He may not he may not disdain philosophy. He may not think philosophy is a man-made illusion, but still he considers philosophy as a sort of nebulous thing. Nebulous means obscure things, remote things, and ineffective kind of occupation. And he honors the philosophers. It is not that he does not honor. He honors the philosophers, but he puts their works on the highest shelf of the library of civilization. And I am discussing all these things from the writings of Sri Aurobindo only, and not to be taken down or consulted, except by a few minds of an exceptional turn. So he puts their works means philosophers' work, on the highest shelf of the library of civilization, not to be taken down or consulted, accepted by a few minds of an exceptional turn. He admires philosophers, but he distrusts them. They do not believe him. Average Europeans do not believe in them. Why? Because they draw their ideas of life not from philosophy, but from the positive and from the practical reason. But what is this? What is this positivism? It was founded by one philosopher whose name was Auguste Comte. Actual spelling is C-U-M-T-E, but it is pronounced like Comte. M is not pronounced C-O-T, Comte. Auguste Comte was a French philosopher who founded the discipline of sociology and is known for his philosophy of positivism. What is this positivism? His positivism emphasizes science and observation as the primary means of understanding the world. This is their first conviction. So they want to understand world not from philosophic ideas, not through speculation, They want to study or they want to understand world through science and observation. This is the first characteristics of the positivism. Second, they believe in human progress, not through spirituality or philosophy or literature, art, sculpture, music, etc. This philosophy believes human progress through intellectual and social evolution. This is their second characteristic. Third, the importance of sociology as a science to study society. So they emphasizes on sociology as a science to envision the society governed by scientists, intellectuals, and industrialists, not by philosophers, not by men of literature, not by men of art. He was insisting on governance of society by scientists, by intellectuals, by industrialists, with the goal of achieving social harmony and progress. But here the very term positivism is nothing to do with good or bad. But why he has used the word positivism? Pope chose this term because he emphasized the importance of positive, observable facts and data in understanding the world, not in the sense of good or bad. He believed that knowledge should be based on empirical evidence. He believed that knowledge should be based on empirical evidence and scientific observation, rather than speculation or metaphysics. In this context, positive means based on facts or observable rather than good or desirable. Quotes positivism aims to establish a scientific foundation for understanding society, focusing on observable phenomena and empirical data. So this is what is called positivism, and entire West is dominated by quotes positivism, coupled with utilitarianism. So here that is why Maharishi says the average European draws his guiding views not from the philosophic but from the positive and practical reason. But Plato envisions governance of society not by the industrialists, as envisioned by Pope. Plato's idea of philosophers as the right rulers and best directors of society. Plato was all along insisting on governance of society by the philosopher. Seems to the average European, the most fantastic and unpractical of notions. According to him, Plato's idea of governance of society by the philosophers, it seems to average Occidental mind a very fantastic idea, unpractical of notions. Why? Because he believes average Occidental mind, average European believes philosophers must be without any hold on real life. Why? Why he believes in that way? Because he moves among ideas. He means philosophers. Philosophers moves among ideas. So Plato's idea of governance of society or a nation by philosophers seems to him most unpractical of notions. It appears to him most fantastic, but positivism insists insist on governance of society by the scientists, by the intellectual, by the industrialists. But Plato's idea was governance of society by the philosopher. But the average European does not believe in it. But the interesting thing is India holds entirely contrary. Contrary to whom? Contrary to Occidental, average Occidental mind. The Indian mind holds on the contrary that the rishis, the thinker, the seer of spiritual truth is the best guide, not only of the religious and moral, but the practical life also. We look towards Gita even for the solution of our practical life's problem. But average Occidental mind does not believe in philosophy. Why? Because they think philosophy moves on the ideas. It is speculation only. It is only speculation. It has no relation with the practical life. But here in India, Indian mind holds on the contrary that the rishis, the thinker, the seer of spiritual truth is the best guide, not only of the religious and moral, but the practical life also. Rather, Indian people do not believe in scientists. They will believe on a rishi. Why? Because the seer, the rishi, is the natural director of society. He is not to be made a leader. Here in India, rishis are the natural directors of society. To the rishis, he attributes, he means average Indians. To the rishis, he attributes the ideals and guiding intuitions of his civilization. Even today also, Maharishi claims, even today, he is very ready to give the name to anyone who can give a spiritual truth which helps his life. If anybody can help me in solving my life problem with spiritual truth, I will immediately regard him as rishi. But Westerners does not believe in him, because according to him, philosophers moves only on the ideas. It is radically different. Occidental and Oriental minds approach to life, knowledge system. So India's approach to knowledge and Westerners' approach to knowledge are radically different. It is they're not similar only in degrees. It is radically, fundamentally different. And a formative idea and inspiration which influences religion, ethics, society, even politics. Even today, he is very ready to give the name to anyone who can give a formative idea and inspiration which influences religion, ethics, society, and even politics. Why? Because in India, there is a very living relationship between philosophy and religion. As I told yesterday, religion made dynamic. As a religion is enlightened by the philosophies here in India, and philosophy is made dynamic by the religion. That there is a living continuity among religion, yoga, and the philosophy. Why? Why Indian philosophy? Why it is so? Because Indian philosophy, what is Indian philosophy? Because he says the philosophical creations of India differ in this respect from the bulk of the metaphysical thinking of Europe. So Indian philosophy differs fundamentally with the Western metaphysics. Why? That even when they most adopt the intellectual form and method, Indian philosophy too is intellectual. But Maharishi says, yet their real substance is not intellectual. In Indian philosophy, the real substance is not intellectual. Then what it is? But is rather the result of a subtle and very profound intelligence. Result of a subtle and very profound intelligence working on the stuff of sight and spiritual experience. Sight and spiritual experience. So what is experience? It is being expressed in intellectual words. It is not only idea. So what is experience? It is the expression in intellectual form which I have experienced. But in West, philosophy purely moves on the ideas. Their philosophies are produced in brain. But here in India, our philosophies, the core substance of the philosophies are born through our experiences, our practical experiences. And then that experiences is expressed intellectually. And that is why Maharishi says, philosophy and religion are the soul of Indian culture, inseparable from each other and interpenetrative. And then he says, the philosophy is then according to Indian knowledge, what is philosophy? Philosophy is the intuitive or intellectual presentation of the truth that was sought for first through the religious mind and its experience. And it is never satisfied by discovering truth to the idea and justifying it to the logical intelligence. Although that is admirably done. Indian philosophers or Indian philosophy is also satisfactory to the idea as well as they have justified it to the logical intelligence also. And both of these functions have been done admirably. But as its eye always turned to realization in the soul's life, the object of yoga. So, in Indian pedagogy, there are 3 steps always. Understanding has to be followed by realization, and realization has to be followed by experience. Indian people will not accept anything on theoretical basis. He must have also the empirical experience too. So, what is experience through my pursuit, through my spiritual sadhana? Those experiences are expressed intellectually. It is not an ideative, it is not purely an ideative pursuits. Though Indian philosophy too is satisfactory to the idea, it is also justifying to the logical reason. But why? Why? So, what is the raison d'etre of Indian philosophy? Is it for intellectual luxury? Is it only for our imagination? Maharishi says no. There is only one raison d'etre. Raison d'etre means the very purpose of its existence. He says the whole objective of Indian philosophy, whole objective of Indian philosophy, its entire raison d'etre. Entire raison d'etre is the knowledge of the spirit. If it is not directed towards knowledge of the spirit, it is not Indian philosophy. It has to be described as Western philosophy. Indian philosophy must be able to give you the knowledge about spirit. So, is the knowledge of the spirit? Even knowledge of the spirit is insufficient. Knowledge of the spirit. Second is experience of it. And the right way to spiritual existence. Indian philosophy has to provide me a way for my right spiritual existence. Indian philosophy must provide me knowledge about my spirit. Indian philosophy must provide me how I will experience how I will experience that knowledge, because mere knowledge is theoretical. Its single aim coincides with the highest significance of religion. It is also the highest objective of religion here in India. So knowledge about the spirit, experience of spirit, and the right way to spiritual existence. These are the three functions. And so this is then what is the characteristics value of Indian religion? Indian religion draws all its characteristics value from the spiritual philosophy. In India, every religious sect is associated with a certain kind of philosophy. No religion exists in India without a specific philosophy. Everybody has a philosophy. Whether you may accept it, you may reject it, you may throw it away. It is up to your wisdom. Whether you will be guided by the Western view of life, or whether he will be guided by the Indian value of life, it is entirely up to you. You are a free citizen of this free country. You can accept India's value, and you can reject Indian values despite being the fact you are an Indian. India does not, India will not give any stricture. You can even oppose India also, Indian philosophy. India has given that right to you. So Indian religion draws all its characteristics value from the spiritual philosophy, which illumines its supreme aspiration, and colors even most of what is drawn from an inferior range of religious experience. Even at the lower level, lower religious experiences are also colored by the spiritual philosophy. Then why this difference happens? Because the Western believes in positive facts, but India believes in spirit. Why? This is because the Indian believes that the ultimate truths are the truths of the spirit. This is the fundamental reason. You have to grasp this fact, because India believes the ultimate truth is the truth of spirit. There is only one truth. There is only one truth exists. We are all his manifestation. Even India does not believe in creator and the creation, though it is very much prevalent in the lower level. In India, what is actually, there are two words, being and becoming. There is one being who is becoming here. It is, the entire world is not created by the Almighty. He is becoming here. One is becoming many here. That one being is becoming 750 crores jiva. It is so it's a very fundamental concept. Here in India, we don't have the conception like creator and the creation. Then what we have? We have the idea of being and becoming. Being is one, the only one. One is becoming many. Many is the world manifestation. One is the unmanifest state of his existence. So unmanifest, when manifests itself, it becomes many. It becomes hill, it becomes river, it becomes oceans, it becomes animal, it becomes plant. So this is the fundamental conception. Though the concept of creator and the creations are also prevalent at the lower level. So this is because the Indian believes that the ultimate truths are the truths of the spirit. This is the fundamental conception of Indian culture, Indian spirituality. You can accept it, you can disdain it, you can reject it, you can condemn it. It is your constitutional right. Even you can disown whole India's philosophy. It is up to you. But if somebody asks in what is the ultimate truth according to Indian knowledge, this is the only correct answer. This is the only correct answer. Indian believes that the ultimate truths are the truths of the spirit. Matter is not the truth. Even now, science do not recognize matter as the ultimate truth. It is herein called, then it is called spirit. So Brahman, Atman, first is Brahman, then Atman, then it is called Purusha, then it is called Ishvara. These are all same meaning. These has all same meaning. Brahman is the unmanifest divine, unmanifest one reality. Atman, when he is called Atman, when he manifests himself, then it is called Atman. When he resides within you, then it is called Purusha. And when Brahman rules the world, then it is called Ishvara, divine, God. So, and the truths of the spirit are the most fundamental and most effective truths of our existence. Powerfully creative of the inner, this truth is powerfully creative truth for our inner world and salutarily reformative of the outer life. Salutarily means it is also good and reformative of the outer life. So this belief on spirit as the ultimate truth, it is both way beneficial for us. From the point of view of inner world, it is powerfully creative. And from the outer life, it is salutarily reformative. So this is the very fundamental fact. India believes the ultimate truth is the truth of the spirit. But European does not believe. So to the European, the ultimate truths are more often truths of the ideative intellect. Now, choice is yours, whether you will accept West position or India's position. So, to the European, the ultimate truths are more often truths of the ideative intellect, the pure reason. Ideative intellect means the pure reason. They believe in reason. But, so this is the fundamental thing. India believes in spirit, they believe in ideative intellect. That is to say, the pure reason. Pure reason. Then, next thing important, according to Western people, because they are not aware of Indian philosophies. And that is why he believes that all philosophy is speculation and guessing. According to him, all philosophies are nothing but speculation, means only just mind's imagination. Speculation and guessing. And that is why, though they respect philosophers, they do not believe philosophers. The only verifiable truth we must suppose is that of normal fact, the outward world and our response to it. Suppose you love your mother, and reason proves that you do not love your mother. You cannot accept that truth. Though you are convinced that you love your mother is a truth, but if some higher intellect proves otherwise, that you hate your mother, you have to accept. But India believes in the reality of external world as well as inner world. India believes in the reality of objectivity as well as subjectivity. So the only verifiable truth we must suppose is that of the normal fact, the outward world and our response to it, truth of the physical science and the psychology founded on physical science. So according to West, these are the ultimate truths. But India says everything is the self-expression of the spirit. Gita says, who are we? Gita says, Mama eva angsha sanatana. Krishna claims, Gita claims, who are you? You are portion eternal of Sri Krishna. You may accept it, you may reject it. Mama eva angsha sanatana. All Jivatma are his eternal portion. Sri Krishna claims, verse number 7, chapter number 15. It's a categorical statement. And he also says he has two nature. He says this apparent nature is his lower nature. He has identified 8 things as his lower nature. The 5 fundamental things, that is earth, fire, water, etc., 5 things. And the remaining three things are mind, ego, and I have forgotten one thing. So these are the 8 elements according to Gita are the lower nature of Sri Krishna. 5 fundamental substance by which our physical body is composed of, and the mind, ahankar, and there was something. And he claims he has a higher nature. And entire jivas are the angsha sanatana of his higher nature. We are not born of his lower nature. From his lower nature, our body is formed. From his lower nature, our prana is formed. From his lower nature, our mind is formed. But I, myself, my real I is born of his higher nature. So, then this is the final conviction of Indian culture, and according to Indian culture, goal of life. You may accept it, you may reject it. What is this? Maharishi writes, Indian culture recognizes the spirit as the truth of our being. It does not recognize anything else. You may accept it, you may reject it. Indian culture recognizes the spirit as the truth of our being. Then what is the significance of our life? What is life? He says, and our life as a growth and evolution of the spirit. So that spirit can further evolve. Like from matter, what evolve? Plant evolve. After plant, animal world evolve. After animal, man evolve. So there has to be continuous evolution. For that purpose, life is used. So life is a field. Field for what? Our life is a growth and evolution of the spirit. This is the highest, profoundest significance of life. And that is why Maharishi says, modern man is yet to accomplish life. Instead of life, what we have accomplished, he says, we have accomplished birth, we have accomplished growth, and we have achieved dying. These 3 things are for us life. But in the profoundest sense, our life has to be a field. Life has to be a field for growth and evolution of the spirit. So this is one aspect according to Indian culture or Indian philosophy, that Indian culture recognizes the spirit as the truth of our being, and our life as a growth and evolution of the spirit. Second thing, it sees the eternal. You may call him in thousands of ways. It sees the eternal, the infinite, the supreme, the all. Its ultimate, its Indian culture's ultimate focus is on the eternal, on the infinite, on the supreme, on the all. And who is that? Indian culture says, it says this as the secret highest self of all. So we are Atma, and that eternal is the Paramatma. So it sees this as the secret highest self of all. It is secretly within us. This is what it calls God, the permanent, the real. You may call him by any name. This is what is God means, then it is the secret highest self of all. And it sees man as a soul. Soul means portion eternal of that spirit. Portion eternal of that spirit. And power of this being of God in nature. So we are not only a soul, we are also a power. Power of whom? Power of nature. But power of God in nature. And that is why Maharishi in a different works, he writes, who are we? He says, living power of the eternal truth. The individual is nothing but the living power of the eternal truth. This is the intellectual conception of the soul. What is soul? What is the portion eternal? Portion eternal means we are living power. Living power of what? Living power of the eternal truth. A living power of the eternal truth. So, we are living power of the eternal truth. Indian culture focuses on the highest self, which is the secret self of all. And according to India, the truth of our being, spirit is the truth of our being. And what is life? Life is a field for the growth, and life is a field for the growth and evolution of that spirit. With that note, let me conclude here. Thank you.
Okay.
It is